So, good day, friends. This is Dr. Bob Hamilton, and you have tuned in today to the Hamilton Review, where kids and culture collide. Before I begin my short message to you today, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It means a lot to me that you're here, that you have included me and this podcast into your day. So, thank you. So, today I want to share a short message with you all and just kind of review a little bit about what's gone on the last 5 years, and also share a couple personal things. And so this will not be a long show. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in these many, many times that you have tuned into the show. It means a lot to me. It really does. And the fact that people come on every week and listen to what we're talking about keeps me going. So over the last 5 years, beginning in 2020, this show has been we've had this podcast. I've had this podcast, and it was really born in during the time of COVID. 2020, as you all remember, was the beginning of the meltdown in COVID, and to a degree, I did the show because I wanted to bring hope and encourage everybody out there during these pretty bleak times. It was a really tough time. Um, and I will tell you that these 5 years that I have been doing the show have been incredibly rewarding to me. We have I have interviewed almost 300 individuals. We've done about 300 shows, which is I myself even find that astounding because it doesn't seem like that many, but when I actually add them all up, it is that many. But this has been a wonderful, wonderful period in my life. And I will tell you, I tell my wife, Leslie, that this is my graduate education. So when I do a show, realize that there's a lot that goes into it. I have to read a book sometimes. I have to prepare, read articles and different things. So I have been behind the scenes. I have been a busy boy. Um, but I have, as this new year comes, and as I'm 5 years into into this show, I am going to make a change. I'm going to continue to do what we're doing, but we're going to make it into, rather than a weekly show, which is pretty arduous, we're going to make it into a bi-weekly show, which means every other week I'm going to be putting out a program for you all to listen to. Looking back, though, we have covered a gigantic swath of subjects, and I was just reviewing. We've talked about education, we've talked about travel with kids, we've talked about vaccines. Obviously, we went through the whole COVID thing. We've had lots of shows on COVID, nutrition, the psychiatry and psychology, and the aftermath, I guess, of COVID, the result of the lockdown. We've talked to doctors and dentists. We've talked to ENT doctors about ear infections. We've talked about orthopedic docs about sports, endocrinologists about growth, melatonin. We've talked about holidays, Christmas, Passover, uh, certainly Fourth of July, Memorial Day, Halloween has been a big one. We've talked to ballerinas. We've talked to people who run ballet studios. We've talked about the blessings of vacations, the blessings of sport camps, developmental issues, health, female, postpartum issues. Um, I mean, when I look and at the list of the people I've interviewed, authors and people who've written articles, there is remarkable. And I have to say, like I say, just interviewing these individuals has been a tremendous joy. Honestly, I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of people via Zoom, of course, majority of them, but it's been a really, really very enriching time for me, and I don't want to give it up. I will tell you. So we're not going to give it up, but we're going to make it a little bit more doable for me personally. Many of you know that I have a big family. I have 6 children. We now have 13 grandchildren. Those 13 grandchildren all live within the Los Angeles area pretty much. And my weekends, people ask me, what did I do for the weekend? Well, what I did for the weekend is I was going to birthday parties or basketball games or football games or soccer games. Basically, my life is kind of centers around my family and my practice, and also my medical mission trips to different countries. Many of you know that I lead medical mission trips to different locations. We are leaving in 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, to El Salvador with a team of 34 people, and that's a group. The Lighthouse Medical Missions is the group, the name of the group, and I am the leader of that organization. I coordinate it. So my life is full of goodness and blessing, and I will tell you that um, I, I feel blessed by just the opportunities that the Lord has provided me, and I mean that from my heart. So what we're going to do, though, looking at the new year, and I will tell you that when I first started my podcast, I told both my publicist, whose name is Natalie Mitchell. By the way, I want to say a special shout out to Natalie. She's been amazing, and she's helped me all along the way. She was actually the one who prodded me to get a podcast. So, Natalie, thank you so much. You've been a inspiration to me, and also my office manager, Casey Kesnick, who has likewise been right there the entire way, helping me. We get together on a weekly basis and talk about the podcast and people we can have on the podcast. So I'm not doing this alone. I have help in this production. Also, want to say a special thanks to Kenyon, who is my producer. He's the guy who actually cues me up and does the recording. His studio there in Culver City. So Kenyon, thank you to you as well. So we're going to go to a biweekly basis now, mind you. So my next show will come out on the 4th of February. That's going to be a great show. It's going to be about sleep, which is a big issue for me. But we're also going to have bonus shows. So when things are happening currently that I think we need to address, I'm going to continue to have what I call a bonus show, which may not come out on Tuesday, may come out on a Thursday or Friday, whenever I can get people to interview. So my bonus shows will continue. Um, but having shows every other week will allow me to curate a little bit better those people that I have on my show, to reach out to people. It's actually not trivial to get people their schedules to align with my schedule. So that's part of the challenge that anybody who has a podcast deals with, is trying to get the right people at the right time to have a show. So that will give me a little more ease in curating the show. So we're going to continue to do this show, but it'll also allow me just a little more personal time to uh, be with my children, my grandchildren. This is very, very important for me as an individual. Obviously, you all understand that, and so with that's I wanted to share with you the plan for the next year or so. I will tell you, and I've said this to everybody, Natalie, Casey, and Kenyon as well, that I may go back to a weekly basis when I find myself a little more time. I don't I really have enjoyed the pace, frankly. It keeps me alive and busy and focused. So I'm not saying that this is going to be a forever change. It's just is right now. There's a lot going on. Certainly, those of you who live in the Southern California area know we've all been distracted by the catastrophe that has happened in our backyard, namely the fires that have devastated the Palisades in Malibu. So that is very much on my mind. I'm dealing with people on a day by day basis who've lost their homes, who are just crushed emotionally. So this has also been a distraction. I will be honest with you, and so that has taken my eye off the ball to a degree. So it's hard to fit all these things into your time frame. So that being said, I want to say thank you for tuning in. I hope you continue to tune in. My hope is that my show will get more relevant and more and better as I go to an every other week basis. But thank you. You guys have been encouraging to me. I do get notes from you guys. I also run into people who say, "Hey, I listened to your show. I liked what you said about this or that." That means a lot to me as well. So I'm not going away. I'm just going to lengthen my stride a little bit. take a deep breath, which I need to do, those of you who know me, and relax a tiny bit. But we're still going to be, we're still cooking. We're still in the business of podcasting. So thank you all. And we'll hopefully see you on February 4th for Dr. Winter's interview, great interview about sleep. So with that, be well, everyone. You have tuned in today, the Hamilton Review. Here I am, Dr. Hamilton, speaking. So God bless all of you. Continue to tune in. It means a lot to me. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Hamilton Review, where kids and culture collide. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your day. Tune in again next week on Apple Podcast. Rate and comment and tell a friend.